Welcome back to Conversation by IYC. Today, we're talking about the value of buying a yacht with a proven charter track record. From operational advantages to market validation and even resale appeal, we'll be exploring why an established charter platform can be such a smart entry point into ownership. To explore this, I'm joined by IYC's managing partner, California, Matthew Stone. Welcome, Matt.
Hi, Sidney. Thank you for having me. And congratulations on the podcast. It's been super fun to follow along.
Thank you. So when you look at a yacht that has performed exceptionally well on charter, what does that actually tell you as a sales broker?
Yeah, it tells me a few things, and there are exceptions to this, but for starters, the yacht is maintained because a commercially minded owner and crew can't and won't afford for the boat to miss, or even worse, have to cancel a charter due to deferred maintenance issues. Secondly, it tells me the yacht is in demand and well received by the market. It really changes and kind of shapes the thought process when you're taking a buyer who's interested in a charter program from imagining what is capable to the boat has already proven its capabilities. And lastly, I'd say, and arguably the most critical, tells me the crew, owner, and shoreside support are all aligned.
And if we look at KOJU, the 121-foot, 37-meter Benetti that's had quite a successful track record for charter with us and is now for sale with you, what do you think makes her stand out in such a competitive market?
Ooh, brilliant design and uncompromising commercial strategy. It's that simple. No, I'm kidding. In all seriousness, it does take a team that starts with the owner, and this particular owner is commercially minded and sacrifices personal use for charter. Then it's the leadership in the captain. In this program has a excellent one in Captain Nick Battaglia. Machine. His expectations of his team, the boat, and those around him are the highest of any standard, let alone in the yachting industry. Nick understands the business and truly what it takes to be a leader. When you have a program like KOJU that is busy, it's not only managing the business, but managing the crew and liaising with the shoreside support. So it really takes the heads of department to all be aligned. And the leadership from the captain.
Yeah, because you've told me we've had her, for 3 years, and she's done 60 plus weeks?
I think she just got done with her 71st charter,
Wow.
and the boat still looks immaculate.
Yep.
And, that's in unison with the shoreside support from the yacht management team, the charter management team. Both of these departments need to walk side by side with the captain and the onboard team so they can focus on the experience we've sold while we're anticipating the needs, not only while they're on that charter, but also on a charter or yard period or preventative maintenance schedule that might be scheduled months in advance. Just one of my favorite reviews from a past charter client, and one that I use regularly, that this particular client has chartered several large yachts, most significantly larger than KOJU. And he said KOJU punches way above its weight class. The exterior deck spaces are unlike anything we've seen on much larger boats, which I couldn't agree more. The exterior deck spaces on the boat are phenomenal. You have 6 different exterior deck spaces to choose from the foredeck with a massive sunbed and oversized hot tub to dining and lounging areas on both the bridge deck, sun deck, and even an observation deck.
Well, you've actually represented KOJU during the build through to today, which gives you a rare perspective on her life cycle. So what do you think will attract a buyer to this yacht specifically?
It's a proven platform, really, from winning multiple awards, tested and perfected engineering, delivered as a turnkey yacht. It alleviates risk. When you're buying a yacht, it's full of unknowns. But with KOJU, I think you're buying the closest thing to a sure bet in the yachting industry.
Well, I think you touched on something there, is that a lot of owners assume that, a successful charter yacht just means that they're generating revenue. But what are maybe those less obvious indicators that a yacht is genuinely well positioned for long-term ownership success?
Yeah, when you're looking past the top line revenue, which is hard to do, the less obvious indicators, and one that an experienced broker, management team, and owner are really looking for is, what does the repeat clientele look like, and or the repeat retail charter brokers, crew longevity, particularly with heads of department and leadership roles. We're in an industry where we have a high rate of turnover. We're dealing with a lot of young people that, and as they should, they evolve. They're getting more experience. They're looking for their next challenge. But crew longevity, particularly with department heads, is critical. And then lastly, in my personal opinion, the most important, that's non-negotiable maintenance periods.
And so how valuable is it for someone who's considering ownership to inherit an already functioning charter platform?
Purchasing a yacht with a functioning platform, if charter is what you're after, it provides a level of predictability, again, in an industry and dealing with something so complex as a yacht, something that you can really have some level of predictability. In most cases, you're inheriting pre-booked charters. With that revenue, you can forecast, and you're buying market momentum that is built on really market trust.
We've talked personally as well about some of your clients, who have experienced a yacht through charter before eventually actually purchasing that yacht. So how often do you see charter acting as a gateway into ownership?
Geez, I'd say over the last, handful of years, really since COVID, where we've experienced a number of new buyers enter the marketplace. It's happening all the time, and certainly one of the biggest levers with new owners in the industry today.
So what are clients typically learning during that chartering process that's changing the way they approach purchasing a yacht?
When you think about the luxury market, it's interesting. Outside of private aviation, I don't know that there's a quote unquote test drive market. So you're getting to, by chartering a yacht, you're getting to live, use, you're analyzing each boat. And after chartering a few, you start to generally understand what you do and don't want in a yacht. You understand the nuances of different boats, what's important to you and your family, and subconsciously you really start building a blueprint for how and where, and envisioning how you're going to use it. And for my perspective and point of view, that it's single-handedly the most valuable piece of information. You start from a buyer's experience. You start buying. You're not buying the dream at that point. You're starting to buy a reality.
Yeah, and I guess in some cases they're getting used to that crew. They've charted that platform. They understand it. They trust it, and that probably influences, a purchase. Correct?
Without a doubt, and this happens. It's happened with me multiple occasions. We've also seen it where someone charters a boat specifically to vet it as a prospective acquisition.
Mm-hmm. And is buying a yacht with an established charter program, can we make a fair comparison with acquiring a proven luxury hospitality business?
Yeah, I'd say it's fair-ish. They're both luxury businesses catering to generally the ultra high net worth, who demand excellence really from start to finish, and rightfully so. Once a guest has had a great experience, they come back, they refer their friends, their travel advisors. And the same with charter brokers. Once they've had that experience with a particular boat that has met all their clients' expectations, and what's more important is going above and beyond, they feel confident in putting the boat forward. And then you have a whole ethos of clientele on your first day of ownerships. Yachts, while operated as a business, they do remain a luxury lifestyle asset and are far more of an emotional purchase, which of course, from my perspective, makes them more enjoyable to own.
So if we circle back to KOJU as a case study, which, she's undoubtedly one of the most successful charter yachts in her class, what are the biggest advantages of someone purchasing that type of platform with that kind of charter momentum behind it?
Again, and as previously mentioned, a big part of it is you're buying a lot of the market momentum. and if a buyer wants to retain that charter business, you skip a lot of the ramp up period, which is timely, and there's a cost associated with it. So buying a program like KOJU, there's a certain level of risk mitigation, and you gain the ability to, again, forecast based on factual numbers and projections.
And on the flip side, are there any misconceptions maybe for buyers or that buyers still have about yachts with a charter history?
Yes, no doubt about it. And I think the biggest is the boat is worn out, it's tired, maintenance is deferred, when in actuality, and again, there are exceptions to this, but these boats run on tighter, planned preventative maintenance schedules. Deferred maintenance can lead to, the boat being taken out of service, which potentially costs the owner money, not only from canceled charters, but if you have deferred maintenance, those ticket items can continue to add up, and the problem gets worse versus a proactive program where they're doing this preventative maintenance to ensure that the boat does not come out of service. And then you start canceling charters because of this, and you start to damage the boat's reputation. At the top, the truly successful programs do not allow this to happen. So I think that's the biggest, and one that is, I not consistently debunk, because once you get an experienced client who understands this, they get it, right? They know the boat has been maintained.
Well, Matt, before we close, I have 5 quick fire questions for you that I ask everyone. Don't overthink them. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Sunrise or sunset at anchor?
I'm an early morning person. Sunrise.
All right. Salt on your skin or sun on your face?
Salt on skin.
The warm Mediterranean breeze or the Caribbean trade winds?
Ooh, that is tough. I enjoy both, but just given the proximity to me, I am going to go Caribbean trade winds.
Engines off or cruising at full speed?
Easy. Engines off.
And a destination that you'll never tire of?
The Exumas in the Bahamas.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome. Great to be here with you.